Next thing we're going to learn is working with the pen tool, right? So it's going to be that fourth one from the top. I'm going to go ahead and click on it. And so you should have, when you drag your mouse over the work surface, it should be an empty circle. And so one thing with the pen tool is that you have to, if you want a full shape, which is what you guys are going to be working with, you have to complete the circuit, right? So I'm just going to click. And you see how that kind of strings along. Until I click again, it's not going to make a new point, right? So remember, vector-based programs are based off lines and points. And this is the benefit to working with the pen tool, is because it's going to create all these points that you can manipulate, right? So if I just kind of click, you see how it's really geometric. If I click and kind of drag without letting go, it's going to turn that into a nice curve, right? And so I don't have to continue. I can let go. Until I let go, you see all the handles, like I can make it really weird and point different directions, or I can just kind of keep it, back to geometric, right? And so if I I really messed up, I hate that. Control Z should take you back 1 point, which is really nice. So I can delete a few points if I feel like I need to go back. So that's going to come really in handy. So I can complete the shape. And now I have this kind of ghost thing, right? It's going to be called path. Usually you can also rename these if you want. I'm just going to kind of leave them. But if I wanted to use a fill color, I can fill the color. I can, of course, have no color and just kind of leave it naked. And then I can also have that border color, right? So quick kind of step of using the pen tool. So what's really going to be helpful is you can use the pen tool to kind of sketch out a tessellated design completely in vector, right? So I'm going to go ahead and hide this guy. I like hiding layers instead of, deleting them entirely sometimes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with a rectangle first. I'm going to hold down my shift key because I do want this to be a square. I'm going to kind of set that up. What I'm going to do is I'm going to change the color to something really light just so it's easier for me to see where my pen marks are. So change the color. What I'm also going to do is I'm going to go ahead and zoom in. So I'm going to zoom in to my work surface. This is something you're probably going to want to do too, especially if you're working with really ornate designs. Just go ahead and zoom in, right? You can always zoom back out. Oh, that's too far. I can also just click down here. I just want 120. This is too much. It's too much, guys. Let's do 120. There we go. That's perfect. It's too many things. All right. Kind of slide this back into my center. So what I'm going to do, this is, my rectangular path. I have my pen tool. And so what I can do, you see how it kind of illuminates the path of the square? Because even though these are geometric shapes, they are based off paths and points, right? So I'm going to kind of work from the edge and work in. I'm going to make this nice kind of curvy geometric thing. It's almost like, step back that. If you were working, by drawing it out, no different than doing it manually, you're kind of doing the same thing. I'm going to show you how to kind of transfer this like we did in the video and the presentation. And I'm going to go down here. I'm going to wait till it highlights that blue vector path again. And I'm going to complete my path. Right, so now I have this shape, which is great, right? So what I'm going to do, I'm going to select my shape. I'm going to copy and paste it. Right, it's going to give me 2 of these. I'm going to kind of step back my screen a little bit. I'm going to shift this up. And what it's going to do, you see those handy dandy guidelines. Hold on, let me shift up a little bit more. There we go. All right, so as I drag this up, keyword, maybe, it should give me those kind of guidelines again, which is brilliant. That is exactly what I want, right? So I'm going to give this a color, again, for fun. Right, so I'm going to kind of click off my color thing. I'm going to zoom back out a little bit. And I'm going to do the same thing I did when I was working with, combining the shapes. I'm going to kind of click and drag. And I'm going to have those same options come up. Unite and add is just going to give me a fishtail on top of a square. Subtracting is just going to, subtract that one. I'm really going to look for the exclude. Click that, and then that's going to be, now I have a tessellated shape, and when I hit exclude, it all condenses down to one path, which is going to be really helpful for you guys. Going to give you a lot of freedom to kind of play with, basically sketching a tessellated design in vector.